We're diving into a critical aspect of our community, regional economic development. First, I'll chat with Roseanne Leonard, the Managing Director of the Community Business Development Corporation in Newfoundland and Labrador. I'll talk to her about the importance of municipalities working together to drive economic success across multiple sectors. Later in the show, I will have a lively discussion with my colleagues, Mayor Darrin of Conception Bay South and Mayor Dan Bobbett of Paradise. We'll explore our collective decision to form a regional economic development agency to leverage our strengths, foster business growth, and showcase our region on a national and global scale. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Every year, it gets easier to see just how real climate change is. It's time for us to make better choices and take action. By recycling more at home, we make a world of difference, one blue bag at a time. We keep waste out of landfills, and we extend the life of precious natural resources. We all have a role to play, which is why MMSB is partnering with communities across the province to increase recycling at home. Join the curbside revolution. Learn more at recycleathomemnl.ca.
Regional economic development is not just a discussion that we're having on the Northeast Avalon. It's a discussion that's taking place right across the province. With me is Roseanne Leonard, Executive Director of the Newfoundland and Labrador Business Development Corporations. Good afternoon, how are you?
Good, thank you very much.
Good. So tell me a little bit about regional economic development.
Yeah, it was important that you noted that it was important throughout the province, and I think it's more than important now, it's actually crucial. Community Business Development Corporations, or CBDCs, have been in existence in the province in some areas for 30 to 40 years, and the business development piece is important, but without regional economic development and planning, you don't get that business development piece happening in the community. And certainly the CBDCs are working closely with the municipalities and other organizations. You're looking at chambers of commerce, you're looking at even the private sector to really figure out where does our region want to be in 5, 10, 15 years, and we can't do that without regional planning.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we have to understand is that if anything good happens in a community near us, it's good for everyone. It always has that spin-off effect. So the more we work together, the better we're going to be at developing our economy and creating opportunities. I think tourism is a really good key to that. Mm-hmm. Would you think?
We've done a bang-up job in this province when it comes to tourism because it really is. Everything is collaborative about it. You have regional plans, you have multiple organizations and entities coming together to figure out how can we bring people in, how can we keep them, and how can we let them go with a smile on their face. So we need to kind of think along that collaborative approach with all the other sectors, but not even just sectors, but with regions as well. For the first time ever this year, I saw 2 businesses come together for asking for help for a marketing plan, how they can work together to bring in new customers. We see it happening informally all the time, but never in a formal structure such as we need to have a consultant come in or an expert come in and advise us how can we work together better to better serve our community. And now that we're starting to see that, I think that the rest of the province, we also need to take that advice and that guidance and then try and replicate that collaborative approach.
Yeah, particularly in issues that are common to all the businesses, like wayfinding is a very important part of tourism.
Yeah.
In regions, are they cooperating now and working together to address those issues?
Some with an informal structure and some with a very formal structure. And I wouldn't even say it looks the same. It doesn't look the same on the Northern Peninsula as it does on the Southern Shore. So I think by us sharing what's working with one region and what's working with another, it's a really good practice so that everybody can learn to recognize that, look at the partners they have there working together. We might not have all the same entities here, but we can take that approach and work together. Like you said, if we see growth in one area or in one community, one town, it has a spin-off effect with those around it. So we really need to be able to build on that momentum and make sure that it is happening more often.
So nothing's perfect. Have you seen any downfalls or any pitfalls that you've seen in these types of arrangements?
I wouldn't necessarily say downfalls. It might be just learning lessons from the approach. Quite often, a lot of this stuff happens because it's off the corner of someone's desk, and it was a nice idea, and you had passionate people there willing to get it going. What I think sometimes we lose is the momentum, is that when it becomes a success, is that all of those entities and organizations are kind of already doing what they're currently doing, their day-to-day job. So I do think we need to be, as a group, collectively making sure that we've got enough resources that once we have a great idea, we now have to continue how to support it.
So, of course, getting funding to complete these programs and these initiatives is very important. Taking a regional approach to having that asked to various levels of government is also critical.
It is very critical, but even on the receiving side, wouldn't it be great to see if we had our provincial and our federal partners, quite often, if they see an application coming across their table and they will say, how does this work with your regional plan? And then it would kind of put the onus back on organizations like ours to make sure that a regional economic discussion is happening at a regional level.
Yeah, because we're doing regional work, I know on the Northeast Avalon, or even just in the St. John's, Paradise, Mount Pearl, CBS, we share resources in water, wastewater, regional fire department. So these things just become extensions of those relationships that are built on those.
Mm-hmm. And those are key, they're integral. So you have no choice but to make sure that's working for the safety and the well-being of everybody. So it's only natural then that we would be able to take the next steps from those existing partnerships and really turn it into the economic benefits of the community. And you can't really separate economic and the community benefits anymore. The economics of a business or a nonprofit in the region, it impacts housing, and then the housing impacts school and healthcare and everything. So it's really community planning that we're looking at it from a holistic approach.
I think there's also this feeling that, people today that move here or move into our communities, they don't really recognize boundaries. They don't. They just want to go about and work their regular day. So it may be sharing resources too in certain types of recreation and other types of infrastructure becomes important.
Exactly, and so many people recognize that, the next community offers this service really well. Maybe we can piggyback that and then offer our service and grow it that way. And like you see that in the same thing when it comes with the CBDCs and their clients. Those businesses are starting to recognize, I'm not going to survive in this global environment if I don't work closer with my neighbors. So the idea of a retail business now carrying the products and promoting the services of other organizations in the community. So it really is everybody working together.
Yeah, and there's also the work that can be done on developing the data and the information to attract businesses by explaining that, this is maybe a small community, but the encatchment area that you're serving in this area is critical, and it's of a critical mass that you can be successful.
Exactly. A couple of years ago, we worked with the Harris Center and the Regional Analytics Lab to create, a snapshot, a numerical snapshot of what each community or each CBDC region looked like. We had one region that was identified that if another restaurant opened up, it would have a negative impact on the existing restaurants. So they either had to bring in something that was brand new, so you would bring in other people from other communities or other tourists into the region, or you'd kind of been maxed out. And then comparatively, there was another region that was showing that you needed to have restaurants. There weren't enough there, or at least it didn't look like there was enough there on paper. So by working together to understand those numbers, you could actually be talking to the municipalities, to the CBDCs, or anybody, the business in the region. Why isn't there enough restaurants in our region?
Right.
What are the characteristics for our communities? And then that information can really help build up the next application or the next new business that wants to start up serving restaurants.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, is that in attracting business, you want the business to be successful.
Exactly.
You're not, you don't want to just get the business set up with it failing. You want to make sure that they have all the information to make their business decisions.
Yep.
Correct. Well, thanks very much, Roseanne. It was a pleasure, and thank you for coming by to see us.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.
Children want to learn new skills. High Five programs, like the ones at the City of St. John's, provide them with activities and tasks that make them feel special, important, and successful. Learn more about the city's accredited High Five recreation programs today.
Curious about what's happening in the city? Now you can stay up to date with all things events, arts, culture, and recreation. Follow What's Happening St. John's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You've got plans.
Welcome back, and we continue our discussion on regional economic development. And joining me now is the Mayor of CBS, Darrin Bent, and the Mayor of Paradise, Dan Bobbett. Good to see you both again.
Good to be here.
Yeah, and
It's
also,
good to see you too.
just a note before anybody else does, that the mayors of the three communities could get together because we all have the same initials, DB.
That's right.
So, as we start, so we've gotten together and we've agreed to look at the formation of a regional economic development agency. So, Darrin, what does that regional economic development agency mean to your community?
Well, one of the things that we've been focusing on for the past couple of years in a big way is commercial development within Conception Bay South. Is something we're sorely lacking, and we need that revenue to help pay for the things we need and the things we want, our residents want. And you know, I've been to some trade shows over the past couple of years and seen what's being offered by other places and seeing what the business community is looking for. And one of the things I notice when I go there is not individual communities showing up to these things that are trying to attract business to come to their area. They're working together in groups. There's a Moncton group I saw at the last one. There's a group from the Welland area of Ontario together. And there's groups from Alberta and BC. Conception Bay South will be competing individually against these for commercial development. And you know, you feel that you're smaller. You can see it. And you know, when you're talking to big companies that want to come do business somewhere in Canada, you know, you need to have the strength of the people around you. You need to have strength of your neighbors. And joining with St. John's and Paradise seemed like the natural thing to do. It would put us into the same level as some of those other regional economic development agencies that are representing areas across the country. And that's where we need to be to compete. So for our community, it was the right way to go.
Yeah. Dan?
Yeah, I would agree with what Mayor Bent said as well. I mean, coming together, there's strength in numbers, and when we go to these various economic areas or shows or whatever around the area, around the country, and even the globe, because that's what we're looking at. You know, the one thing that I guess we just came out of COVID that taught us as well that, businesses are pivoting and changing, and municipalities and governments need to do the same thing. So working together, there's synergies there from working together, and when we're competing on a global front to attract business opportunities to the region, we all benefit.
Yeah, when we looked at it, we see ourselves as being complementary to each other, as opposed to competing with each other. And on the global market that we're dealing with today, we really do have to be all together in how we approach this. One of the things for us is the timing of when to do it. And if you look at the opportunities that we have, the timing is now to do it. For your community, Dan, what do you think is the timing, why the timing was right now to do this?
Well, like I said earlier, we just came out of a recent pandemic where working together with your neighbors was very important overall. And regionally, we already work together on a regional front with so many other regional services, but the economic development piece was a part that was missing from that part of it. So now is the right time. Like they say about planting a tree. When was the right time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. So working together is an opportunity to attract business to the area, and there's no time like the present.
Darrin?
Well, as we came out of COVID, we had a municipal election, and of course, through that, our council is very aggressive when it comes to commercial development because we see it as the ultimate need for the sustainability and the long-term success of Conception Bay South. So we hit the ground running on that. When we started talking together, the three of us, about doing this, it fit right into our plans anyway. And we all agreed that it's better to be at the table. It's better to be together with our communities. I mean, we work together through various departments all the time anyway that people don't see on a regular basis. Our planning department or economic development department, people usually don't do anything big without talking to see what is going on next door or just down the road. And it's just a natural step to do this. Like Dan says, I mean, 20 years ago would have been a better time to do it, but there's no point in waiting for tomorrow. Let's do it now. So it's good timing.
No, I agree. Look, we're all politicians. We're all faces of our community. We all have councils that we're dealing with. And what we're doing here with this Regional Economic Development Agency is really we're putting economic development under our management, but in the control of a board that will operate this. How do you see that as in your community being perceived? Is that a good step forward, or is something that you think residents may be somewhat concerned about?
The feedback that we've gotten has been overwhelmingly positive. Matter of fact, people said, why didn't you do it before now? Well, we're here now, so we're doing it now. But as a politician, I think we have a role in this. We're going to have people on the ground doing the work and showing up to these trade shows, but we have a role to support this and ensure that it is going in the direction that we want it to. That's why, as part of the agreement to do this, is we all have equal say in how this moves forward, and that's important because you can't just set up an entity and it act completely independently, because you want to make sure it's on the right path where we want it to go. But as politicians, I think that we have a shoulder-to-shoulder role when it comes to being on the front line with this agency to help them along and to support them in any way we can.
Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I would concur with what Darrin says as well. Our community was, overwhelmingly in support as well. And, again, like I said earlier, whatever benefits the region will benefit us as well. And, we've got one of the youngest average age populations. We've got land available for, either commercial and residential. The youngest average age population is your employees, the future. So, for any businesses or entities that come to the region, our growth is everybody's benefit, right, when you think about it.
So, as we start this and we start moving forward and putting the structure in place, what areas do you think that we should be focusing on, and that you think that the Regional Economic Development Agency would provide that focus?
I think the uniqueness of our location and what we have to offer naturally here. I mean, we're one of the most beautiful places in the country, and if not the entire continent. And one of the great things that has come from I guess, in the wake of COVID is that people are putting more emphasis on quality of life now than before. You know, it's not all skyscrapers and industrial parks all the time. It's where am I going to live? Where are my kids going to grow up? And where do I want to do business? How do I see my office? Is it necessarily in a building where I go to, or is it out of my home? But where do I want to center, and where will the supplies be? And I think that the Northeast Avalon offers a tremendous attraction value, from the heritage of St. John's to the beautiful Conception Bay and the weather there that offers through the area, and the amenities for young families. And I think it's one of our key selling points is just who we are and where we are.
And that's something that we've been doing in Paradise for a while, is place building, right? Making Paradise a place you want to come, work, and play. And you're building the amenities, the recreational facilities around it. Again, being close to the heritage piece of St. John's. St. John's is the oldest city in North America. You know, all of those come together, and what we're looking at with the regional economic development and globally is things like clean energy or green energy. Those are the things that you know, that we are open, as the 3 largest municipalities on the Avalon, is open to look at those businesses. And there's a huge market out there. You know, so much so I've been talking to people in the industry that these companies are interested in looking all across the province. It's not just on the West Coast, where we've seen the announcement there recently this year. But again, that's the areas one of the areas that we're looking at. The other areas are like technology globally. Again, we're looking globally. We're not looking just regionally. Regionally help us out on the Avalon, but globally is the market that we're looking at for the attraction piece, to get those global businesses to look at Newfoundland and Labrador for the reasons Darrin said about what a quality of life, what a place to live, you know, the scenery, fantastic, right? So.
Yeah, when you look at the opportunities that we have in Newfoundland and Labrador, and you look at the ocean industries and the potential that we have there, if you look at the success in the startup sector and what some support municipally can provide to that, can benefit every community on the Northeast Avalon. I think there's a lot of opportunities there, and ones that now is the right time to take advantage of those and make sure that we get the maximum benefit from them. Okay, so we're going to play a little something now. We're going to name, and I'll start, the positive things about another community and what it has to offer in terms of economic development. So I'll start, and CBS. Well, aside from the good weather, I think CBS has a great urban-rural mix. It's something that you've been careful to nurture, and I think it gives a lot of opportunities for attracting people to the town of CBS. And for the town of Paradise, it would have to be the youthfulness of the city. I mean, I think you've got one of the youngest populations in the province right now. Yeah. So much so that you need a new school, I hear. Well, but
we're trying.
You're trying.
Get in line.
But there is a lot of opportunities, and they're both very unique municipalities. So, Darrin, what do you about Paradise?
About Paradise? Well, aside from its proximity to Conception Bay South, one of the things about Paradise that I see is that it has a good mix of industrial and residential, and they have room to expand on both. And I think that makes it a good target area for the businesses to look at, and for people to live. And I think, you know, when people come into the region, I think it benefits the entire region, not just one community. So, you know, when you talk about St. John's benefits, Paradise benefits, or Conception Bay South benefits, you know, where somebody lives, half the workforce may live in Paradise, half may live in Conception Bay South, and the business may set up in St. John's. Right. Well, that's great for all of us.
Yeah. Dan?
Well, you know, similarly, you know, CBS is the second fastest growing municipality but the second largest in the province.
As of 2021.
As of 2021. But I think CBS has got a lot to offer as well. You know, the second seaport is something that, from a regional economic development point of view, like St. John's has got a fantastic port and harbor there, but CBS has got a port there that could be developed much further, and I think that's a great advantage going forward when we're looking at ocean technology Technologies and Ocean Industries as well, that there's an opportunity there that from CBS perspective that we can all take advantage of, because whatever happens with us regionally, we're all going to benefit.
Well, you know, there's just so much opportunity there, and there's so many benefits that we have here on the Northeast Avalon, and being able to make the maximum use of those to further develop our province, I think, is something that's a responsibility for all of us to take on. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a great discussion, and we will see you here soon.
Did you enjoy the show? Let us know. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns with anything that you've seen on this episode of Municipal Matters, please drop us a line by email at municipalmatters@stjohns.ca. We will try to answer any questions that you may have.
Recycling at home is one of the easiest ways to help protect our environment. Believe it or not, a lot of what we're throwing away in Newfoundland and Labrador can actually be recycled instead of sent to the landfill. And since you're already throwing it to the curb, the only difference is the color of the bag it's going in. So let's break it down. What can you put in your blue bag? For starters, boxboard, cardboard, paper bags, newspaper, toilet paper rolls, the majority of cardboard and paper products can be recycled curbside. A lot of metal and plastic containers are also accepted. Aluminum pie plates, soup cans, plastic food trays, shampoo bottles, butter tubs and lids, laundry detergent containers, and milk cartons are just a few examples. But remember, some items are not accepted in your blue bag. Placing items like glass containers, coffee cups, tissue, wrapping paper, and styrofoam may cause your bag to be left behind. To ensure your recyclables find a second life, you should also ensure they are free of liquids, garbage, or food. And that's it. You just leave it right there at the curb. We all have a part to play. Join the curbside revolution. Learn more at recycleathomnl.ca.
Neighborhood Watch is a free, community-based crime prevention program where neighbors come together to be a more connected and thereby safer neighborhood. Neighborhood Watch can help neighbors create a safer environment for everyone by working together, being alert to suspicious and criminal activities, being the neighbor you wish you had. Neighborhood Watch is a safe program. It's about keeping your eyes open to anything that looks out of the ordinary and alerting the police to help prevent crime in our neighborhoods. By working together, we can help prevent crime. Let's connect and protect. For more information, dial 709-726-0180 or email neighborhoodservices@stjohns.ca.
And some nasty weather rolling in across the country today.
Extreme weather can hit quickly. Because of climate change, high-risk weather is becoming more common and severe across Canada. 1 in 3 Canadian adults have experienced a major weather-related emergency or disaster. Know the risks in your area and learn what actions you can take. Are you ready? Visit getprepared.ca. A message from the Government of Canada.
Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Email us at comments@rogerstv.com or visit our website.
You're watching